Shut up and sit down.
Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture. Let's bring on the host, Sam, the queen of rock and roll dogs.
Hi everyone, welcome to the show. You're listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio with me, Sam, your host. I am known as the queen of rock and roll dogs. And the show is a rock and roll show, so it's a little bit of a twist from a normal show. We bring on some rock stars, we bring on some rock stars in the animal world, and we have a lot to talk about every single week. So let's start by telling you how you can connect with us over the internet. It's very, very easy. You can find us on Periscope, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest, and I'm trying to think anywhere else that we've placed ourselves. You'll just search for Vegas Rock Dog Radio and you'll easily find us. You can also find us at our website. That's our hub for everything that happens on the show, and that's vegasrockdogradio.com. We also have two other websites, and the first one is vegasrockdog.com, and that is where you can go to purchase for you or your dog a fantastic selection of rock and roll clothing. And we say it's rock and roll clothing for hip dogs and humans. And it's clothing, it's collars, it's ties and bow ties and all kinds of fun stuff for our pets. So that's where you'll go, vegasrockdog.com. And the second website is our blog, The Rock and Roll Dog. I love the blog. I get to really put up some great honest reviews for products and services so that we can make it very easy for you when you're looking for products and services. I'm very honest about what we put up there. I have to believe in these products in order to put them up there in the first place, but I will be very honest about them. And it makes, I say, for you when you're looking for new products and services for your pets. We also cover tons and tons of articles, whether it's for health, wellness, funny stuff. There's something I'm going to put up tomorrow that's going to be very funny on the lines of Kim Kardashian, except ours is more of a dog Dashian type post that's going to happen tomorrow. And the website again is therockandrolldog.com. So very, very easy to find us on the internet there. And of course, we love it when people come over to our Facebook page. Always post a picture of your pets. I love to see the pictures of your pets, especially if it's, for example, people post great pictures for the weekend. It's always like, here's my dog chillaxing and various other fun things they do for the weekend. And I love when it's, Easter rolls around and you got a cute dog with little bunny ears on. And actually, since I'm actually talking about Easter, just remember, it is not a good idea to get bunnies for your kids. They're not gifts. They don't make the most ideal of pets. They do take a lot of work and very special care. You can very easily traumatize a rabbit if you really don't know what you're doing. So my suggestion is for your kids, buy them a bunny toy, and that way you can they can be however they want to be with the toy. It's a much better alternative, and maybe you can make a donation to a local house rabbit society. And they have them all over the country. We have one in Las Vegas, and I do like to make sure that we get as much information out as we possibly can when these holidays roll around, because people do look at animals as gifts, and they don't make great gifts, especially if you're buying it for someone who has no idea that you are getting them a new puppy, and maybe they didn't want to take on all the work of a high energy puppy that will need to go out every 15 minutes to go to the bathroom and will chew through your shoes. So never think of them as gifts for people. It's really, really important that you do that. So for Easter, get a fluffy bunny toy and donate to your local House Rabbit Society. Well, I, this week, have been following A piece of news that's escalating very, very quickly, and I actually can't give you the entire update unless I actually get a confirmation, an official confirmation on some news. But this is surrounding Cesar Millan, the dog whisperer, and he's been in the news this week. Once again, it's not the first time, and I want to be upfront here. I'm not a fan of Cesar Millan and his training techniques, not at all. So, as I say, once again, he is in the news, and I'll tell you why. This is not to bash him. This is to help you, to educate you, so that you know what to look for in a dog trainer. But basically, he was invited to be at the Western Veterinarian Conference here in Las Vegas. And you're probably wondering, so what's the big deal with that? Well, in the animal world, for trainers and veterinarians and behavioralists, he's not a very popular figure due to his method of training. And it's a non-science-based training, very, very, very old-fashioned way of training animals. And the uproar is that such an organization would welcome him to their conference due to his non-science-based training and a recent episode of what just happened on one of his shows. Because, you look to these conferences, you look to the conferences because these are the professionals, and these professionals are current on what's happening in the animal world. So this is why they were upset, because why would they have someone there who trains in a very, very old, archaic, non-proven method of training? So this is what people were very, very upset about. So to explain to you what happened in this one episode that's also sparked this outrage, I found an article here on Dogster.com. And if you actually have not been on Dogster's website, I remember when they first started, it must have been 10 years ago when we started our company, Vegas Rock Dog, and they were just starting out, and it was this, what, an online community for dog lovers? What is this? I at the time, because we were starting out in business, I did not jump on the bandwagon, and I probably should have in hindsight. They were new, we were new, we were spending lots of money, they were, and we just didn't have the budget to be involved with Dogster. But it has grown into an amazing online community for pet lovers. And of course, they have Catster, so it's not just exclusively for dogs, but a great website with current news on it, and great articles, and obviously a very fun element for people who love animals. So here is what I picked up today, and this kind of blew up in the last, because a lot of people reached out to me, because I am in Vegas, if I could actually get down there to interview him, and he was already gone out of town. I think it was a very fleeting visit, and so schedules did not permit that. I would have loved to have gone down to speak to him about this particular episode in his show that's got people up in arms and very, very upset. I have seen it. I was incredibly upset and disturbed by it also. It's not something I would recommend that you show your children, by no means. And if you're the kind of person, and I work with tons of people in animal rescue that see enough every day, and they'll say, you know what, I just don't need to see any more of it because I know what it's all about, then don't look at it. I'm going to give you an idea of what happened without it being graphic. So here's the article that was on Dogster, and the title is "Petition Calls for Cesar Millan to Lose His TV Show. Let's All Sign It." In a recent episode of Season 911, the TV personality used one of his own pets as bait for an aggressive dog who had killed pets in the past. Both the pig and the dog suffered. So that's a pretty rough byline right there. And Annie Phoenix, she's the one that actually wrote this article. She's a certified trainer, CPDT-KA, so that you know that she knows what she's talking about. And this is exactly what Annie wrote. As a professional trainer and someone who deeply loves animals, I have never enjoyed watching Cesar Millan handle dogs. In his role as a television personality on various programs, he often scares dogs in the name of training and seems oblivious to this fact, or he simply does not care. He's been called out over and over again by countless organizations, professional trainers, behaviorists for using outdated and physically painful methods. And I know if you're listening and you're a fan of Cesar Millan, you're probably going, what? No, I've never seen this. But there's a lot that goes into these shows, and that can almost have you a little bit fooled. So just stay with me on this. She continues to say, Milan is once again under international fire. And she's saying international. For me, coming from England, I know we had uproar in England where there's a chain of stores, a little bit like a PetSmart Petco, who were carrying his videos, and they'd picked up on some other past episodes that people did not like. They thought it was inappropriate how he was handling the dogs. They thought the dogs and people were in danger, and they made a call for this particular chain to not carry his products, and that meant DVDs and collars and leashes, those kind of things. So this is when they say international. This is not isolated. This is not this is one thing that's happened with him. There's a lot of things. So he's under international fire for a recent episode of his current show, in which he decides to train a French Bulldog Boston Terrier mix out of his pet pig killing ways. And she said she wonders if he is fueling the flames by actually doing this episode, because in this episode there are several petitions calling for this TV show to be cancelled, including this one by Dog Decoder creator and trainer Jill Breitner, who reached out to me yesterday. And I'm going to tell you something great about Jill at the end of this article that I think you'll want to jump on it straight away. And there were numerous mentions of charges for animal cruelty and animal baiting are also circulating around this episode. If you don't know what animal baiting is, it's using an animal to basically terrify another animal, to get a reaction out of them, which is illegal. You can't do that. And so this is why these kind of words are circulating around the actual article itself. So longtime partner, National Geographic Channel, produces and airs his show. And on it, he purports to rehabilitate dogs, although there are legions of top dog training professionals, including veterinary behaviorists, who publicly have asked Nat Geo to remove this program. The 4,000-member-strong Pet Professional Guild issued a position statement back in 2012 in which it notes, showcasing training methods that use force, fear, or pain are morally and ethically wrong, as well as damaging to the animal, damaging to the human-animal bond, and potentially create hazards for the pet-owning public that may attempt to use such methods. So this has been going on quite some time. These are people who are very current in the field, and they do have some big concerns. And possibly because Nat Geo executives, this is still in the article, do not have a background in training dogs, but instead in creating must-watch TV programs, which they're fantastic at. They saw no problem in promoting the February 26th show with a clip titled Tiny Pig Slayer. Not a great title, I will say. That sounds terrible to me. Anyway, the clip has since then been removed from YouTube, but you can watch the entire episode on the network's website. As I say, I've seen it. I would not recommend it for your children or for anyone that gets very upset about animal abuse and just when you watch something, you go, ooh, there's something about that that's wrong. Don't put yourself through it, especially if you're someone who, gets quite upset about that, but you're well aware of what animal abuse looks like. Anyway, the dog in question is named Simon and was brought to Milan by his owner. So she's coming for some help. Milan put this dog in a slip lead leash. His first dangerous decision, she says, as a brachycephalic, which means a short-nosed dog. See the pugs, the little Boston Terriers, because they can have a hard time breathing, and a slip lead puts pressure on the dog's neck and airways. And Simon should have been in a harness to keep pressure off his neck. So that was the first red flag, watching this episode. And Milan takes Simon into an enclosed area where several of his own pigs roam loose. The dog is on a leash and ignoring the pigs at first. And what Annie says is that was a terrific opportunity to reinforce the behavior his owner really wanted, But Cesar Millan ignored it, and Milan announces that he will use a new environment for Simon to my advantage. He already has killed 2 pigs in the past, but if I can give him a new positive memory with them, it will be a great foundation that can translate to a better behavior for all animals. And then her next sentence is, Milan failed to give this dog that positive memory. So actually, on that note, because there's a lot more to this article that I want to talk about, we're going to take a break so we can listen to some words from our wonderful sponsors who make this show happen every single week, and we'll be right back. You're listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio with me, Sam, your host, the queen of rock and roll dogs.
Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture.
Welcome to Barking Dogs Self-Wash and Grooming, your one-stop shop for all of your pet's needs. We offer premium natural pet foods, full-service grooming, and an on-site bakery and boutique. You can choose to self-wash your dog or schedule a luxury pampering with our professional groomers. Our new Cool Cat section offers feline food, toys, bedding, and litter, while the adventurous dog department has everything you need for your outdoor activities. Cody's Healing Garden is a special place featuring flower, aromatherapy, and herbal remedies for pets. Ask us about Karma Connection, our program supporting animal rescue. Find us at barkingdogslv.com and look for us on Facebook and Twitter. We look forward to seeing you at Barking Dogs Self-Wash and Grooming.
Hello, this is Jim and Sam from Vegas Rock Dog.
We've been styling dogs and their humans since 2005, and no matter what size your dog is, we can give your best friend the bark and roll look that will make them stand out from the rest of the pack.
Vegas Rock Dog has a fantastic collection of tank tops, dresses, sweaters, jackets, collars, and ties for your dog.
And for you, the owner, there are rock and roll tanks and tees and great accessories. Wearing Vegas Rock Dog makes you look and feel like a rock star, and that's why everyone loves our gear, including Hollywood celebrities.
So grab your leash and go to vegasrockdog.com or find us on Twitter and Facebook at Vegas Rock Dog.
Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture.
And we're back. You're listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio with me, Sam, your host, the queen of rock and roll dogs. And if you're just listening in, I'm talking about some very current news that's happening this week surrounding Cesar Millan and his new show that's on National Geographic, where he's actually got a lady that's come forward with her dog, Simon, and he has killed a pig in the past, and she wants to be able to correct that behavior. So Cesar Millan has basically put this dog with these pigs. The dog's on a slip leash, which is not good for a dog that has a very short snout, which is what Simon has. And I'm continuing on with this great article on Dogster. And it's so we're going into kind of the process of what happened during the show itself. And Milan basically had failed in protecting the pigs when he took Simon off the leash. And the pigs squealed off camera. Simon took off running and launched onto the pigs, leaving one with a bloody ear, missing a piece of its ear. And some who have watched this video feel it was a setup by a producer who was holding one of the pigs by a back leg, which is just, I can't even, but it's TV. It's stuff like this does happen, and I know it's hard to believe. And also you look to National Geographic and go, oh, well, they must care about animals, but this is just all around not a good situation at all. And I think they could have done a lot more checks and balances to make sure that this didn't happen. So you've got now a dog off leash, and he's attacking pigs. And it is disturbing to watch it. And they do believe, they say, a producer, and they haven't confirmed this yet, was holding one of the pigs by its back leg. And, you know, and he says in this article is, can you imagine the real life fear this pig felt? So this was a part of the whole baiting thing. You put a dog in there that's worried, it's called worrying sheep. You're worrying an animal and making it very, very fearful. And clearly that's what was happening. And he didn't know that Simon, she said, can you imagine the real life fear this pig felt? He didn't know that Simon had 2 successful kills already. He's killed pigs before, but you can be sure that pig understood Simon meant him harm, and that caused the pig completely unnecessary stress. That in itself is terrible. So we've got the leash problem now. The dog's on the wrong kind of leash, and then we've got a pig that's been attacked. And excuse me. Milan failed the owner, who had to watch her dog attack yet one more animal, so I'm sure it's incredibly traumatizing for her as well. He also failed Simon repeatedly, which this video shows with commentary by professional dog trainer Vicky Dawes. I will put this link up so that you can actually hear her commentary as the video runs, and you'll be able to see for yourself and understand for yourself, because if you're not a dog trainer, you can look at those shows and go, wow, that's miraculous, that was fixed. But you can actually see whether things go wrong and how they could have been completely avoided. Milan did succeed in causing enormous pain and fear in the bitten pig, and later in Simon, when Milan finally recaptured the dog, and it did take a while to get hold of him, and put him on his side several times in an unhelpful and cruel method of teaching a dog who is the leader. And this is something that we talk about in I'm saying modern training. It's not modern, it's science-based. It's been around for a long time, and people need to adopt it. If you're current and you're doing your continuing education as a trainer, everybody should be doing positive, force-free training. So basically, this who is the leader, which has been disputed, and I've said this before, and I'm not a dog trainer, so, this is just my opinion. Why would they talk about this pack mentality, which they're not even sure so much about, whether it really, really, really applies to dogs. But if there was a leader, would it be a human? And it probably wouldn't. And so why would a dog instinctively connect with a human and say, oh, you're my leader? And that's a big part of his training method that people do not agree with. They feel it's about a positive relationship and bond with your pet, and not any kind of fear-based relationship. Of course, we all want to have positive relationships with our pets. It's just the right thing to do, isn't it? And she says there's nothing positive created in Simon's memory in this situation, not in all of those who had to watch a pig killer nearly being able to kill once again. Part of the reason Milan now faces increasing calls for legal consequences for these actions is the argument that the episode constitutes animal baiting, as we talked about earlier, a form of animal torture that is illegal in many places that the program actually airs. It is problematic and harmful to dogs that a TV personality is legally able to put his hands on dogs and employ decades-old training methods that have been scientifically quashed for many, many years. Milan believes, or at least heavily promotes, an archaic and disproven theory that dogs are trying to dominate us. So we humans must out-dominate them at every turn. This would be laughable, but because Milan is granted a high-visibility TV perch, countless dog owners believe this utter nonsense. Dogs who are thrown on their sides or backs either shut down completely or bite in self-defense, and then can be put down for that bite. So think about this. And it's they call it the roll, some kind of a roll they call it. Flips the dog on its side. That can be quite scary for the dog in itself, and it's either, like I said, going to shut down, or I'm going to snap back at you because I don't like this. What's happening to me, and you hear a dog's bitten someone. Animal control will certainly pay you a visit, and you don't want to be in that situation. So if you're currently doing some of these methods, I'm going to give you some great ideas on how you can make the switch today to a positive, force-free training method that's going to help you, like, immediately. Because this is what I want to do. I think we need to... press is very good, PR is very good at actually squashing a lot of things that happen with celebrities that aren't very good. And so a lot of this has been very, very kind of hidden and not in the world of trainers, because they do keep tabs on this kind of thing, but for the general public. And we want to be able to help you help your pets and just be in a much better place with them. And a little bit more informed, And so she says, in addition to To the 2 pet pigs he killed, Simon has been in altercations with other dogs, with his owner at risk of losing her approval to foster dogs for a local rescue. So this is a big part of why she wants to fix this, because she wants to be able to get him, situated and also be able to help other animals. So I'm sure she's very, very distressed on all levels. Simon is a dog who needs the help of a trained, certified animal behaviorist. His problem is not one that can be solved by allowing him to run around and attack pigs. His problem is not one that can be solved in a short, heavily edited TV program. This program did nothing more than scare the hell out of the pigs, and it allowed the dog to practice and succeed at a behavior his owner just does not want him to do. And as Simon is terrorizing pigs in the episode, he has a frustrated man chasing after him saying, "I got it, I got it." She said she cringed the entire time watching the video, and as did many other professional trainers and behaviorists. "If I had been watching in person, I would have dialed 911, she said, after Milan grabbed the dog several times and forced him onto his side. The dog was already panting heavily and putting a panting brachycephalic. I always have these big words to pronounce during my show. Brachycephalic dog on his side, which is a short snout on a dog, and clamping down on his neck could have stopped the dog from breathing. And then Milan might have been handed another lawsuit for a death of a dog under his company's control." And this is how she closes this. "You don't have it, Cesar Millan. You really don't. You don't seem to know how to effectively and without force help dogs learn new behaviors. You do know how to make dogs afraid of you, as many of them on your programs are forced into a helpless state of fear in which they shut down and stop moving. You do effectively teach them to be afraid of a man named Cesar Millan. But you do little nothing to fix the unwanted behavior. You didn't even do what you set out to do, and that is a positive memory for Simon." She says she signed the petition, which was actually put together, I think it was yesterday. It gathered a lot of speed. But she said she signed the petition to get the TV show off the air. "If you are concerned about animals on this program, please do the same. The training protocols used by Milan on his television programs are outdated and unnecessary, and it's time to get such bad dog training advice off the airwaves." And I do agree with that. So if to a lay person, you watch the show, it appears that he miraculously corrects these animal behaviors, that their owners don't want. But I call this the whole smoke and mirrors of television and a viewership who are not trainers. So you can't blame them. They see what they see and think, "Gosh, that's amazing. I should try that." It's foolish to think that any issue is resolved in any 30-minute show. As we all know, it takes us a long time to change our own behaviors, and it certainly doesn't happen in a 30-minute episode. And what you're watching each week is a television personality who trains dogs, and you're not watching a certified trainer with serious credentials who's very, very current. So my goal today, like I said, is not to bash him. He's not been my favorite. All I try and do when people bring up his name with me is say, "Hey, you might want to look at positive reinforcement force retraining, because that's a much better avenue and get great results, and you get a great relationship with your pet and really strengthen the bond." But I do believe he has put and continues to put animals and people in danger through his show. And so to help you today and educate you and help you guide you in the right direction, and I want to be able to tell you where you can go and look for these great trainers. I posted the petition yesterday, and the petition was put together by Jill. Where's Jill's name on here? Let me get you her full name shortly. She put this, she's a trainer herself, and she is certified with the ccpdt.org. And she put the petition together. It gathered a lot of speed. But I did have some friends that said, "Oh, how do I find one of these, certified trainers with great credentials?" So I sent it to the website, which is www.ccpdt.org. And then what you'll do is you'll search your state. And we do have, I think, 3 in Las Vegas, which is good. If we had 1, it'd be great too. And really, really important that you do find someone who has some very, very serious training. It is not, in some states, you don't have to have a certification, but I would go with someone who had some serious training. And with one of their certificates, it's a 300-hour training. It's a lot, And she gets people who are very, very serious about about dogs and doing things in a positive way. So that's where you would go, and it's the CPDT-KA. Gosh, I'm all kinds of words today. I'm to pronounce everything. It's the Certified Professional Dog Trainer Knowledge Assessed. Measures a broad range of knowledge and skills in ethology, learning theory, dog training technique, and instruction. To be eligible for the examination, you have to have a minimum of 300 hours experience in dog training within the last 3 years. Provide a signed attestation statement from a CCPDT certificant or a veterinarian, and sign and file their code of ethics. And it goes into a lot of depth. Some of the people that I know are trained by that. You will know Laura Nativo. She's the fairy dog mother. You will have seen her on Home and Family on the Hallmark channel. She's a friend of ours, and she is certified with them. If you've seen the show, she's fantastic. It's always so positive, great results, and a great bond that you have with your pets once you do that. So what I want to say is, if you're not following force-free positive training method, make the switch today to improve your relationship with your dog. You'll feel better yourself, and you never want your dog to be afraid of you. And you can switch your training like immediately by downloading this app. And this app is by Jill Breitner. That's Jill's last name, Jill Breitner. She put the petition together. She has this app called the Dog Decoder app. And I want you to go and download that app straight away. And this is what I want to tell you about this app. This smartphone app is for everyone who loves or works with dogs and wants to understand how to read them better. Oh, and I should give you I'll give you the website things at the very, very end. There are about 60 different poses on display in Dog Decoder. They're very good. They are very, very good to look at and understand. Each pose is beautifully and expressively illustrated by one of the world's top dog artists, Lily Chin of Doggy Drawings. Each pose comes with a diagram pointing out where on your dog's body he's indicating how he's feeling. For example, in the poses for fear, the diagram will point out the tucked tail, ears pulled back. So all these little pointers that you can look at the body language. Body language is so important. You'll be able to read your dog and help your dog and train your dog. And she says, we won't just show you a picture of a scared dog. We'll teach you what to look for, the very specific signs of fear. This is so valuable. Each pose comes along with a helpful description of the context. This is where you'll learn about some common misconceptions or what kinds of situations will cause your dog to assume each posture. The website is dogdecoder.com, and the creator of this app is Jill Breitner, and I was in touch with her yesterday, and she's been studying body language since 1978, so you need to listen to her. She is the authority on this, and Dog Decoder is endorsed by many vet behaviorists and trainers around the world, and you just go to the website dogdecoder.com to find out more and to see more of this amazing work this woman does. And I'm sure I'm probably going to become friends with Jill, because I usually do with everyone I connect with through the animal world. So on that note, and I'm going to say the website one more time, dogdecoder.com, created by Jill Breitner, behavioralist, and she can read and study body language since 1978. Download it today. Make the change into a positive reinforcement force-free training method. So on that note, we're going to take another break, listen to some words from our sponsors, and we'll be right back. You're listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio with me, Sam, your host. I am the queen of rock and roll dogs.
Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture.
Wigglebutts Uncorked, the hottest pet-friendly fundraiser of spring 2016, is about to take flight, and you are invited. Fly with the Wigglebutt Warriors in their crusade to save dogs' lives. This is no ordinary fundraiser. This is Wigglebutts Uncorked at America's oldest winery. The Bark is the new black, and the who's who of the canine world will be in attendance for this gala benefit to raise funds for the NYC Second Chance Rescue. Party the night away, celebrate, give back, and enjoy the second annual Wiggy Awards. Join us Saturday, April 16th, 2016 at the Brotherhood Winery, Washingtonville, New York. Order tickets by visiting fidosofreality.com, and remember, we're going to the dogs, and so can you. It's all for a good cause at Wigglebutts Uncorked.
Pet Scene magazine is dedicated to Las Vegas pets and the people who love them. It's a source of news and information for pet lovers, as well as offering valuable coupons and specials on pet products and services. Find them online at www.lvpetscene.com or look for them on Facebook.
Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture.
And we're back. You're listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio with me, Sam, your host. I am the queen of rock and roll dogs. And just before the break, if you were listening in from the top of the show, I was talking about Cesar Millan, who's been under fire the last couple of days for an episode that aired where a pig was attacked by a dog that he let off leash during a training session. And there's been a call for his show to be taken off the air. But I've just got I've never done breaking news on the show before, but I've just got some breaking news, and this came not only through Jill, who Breitner, who started the petition. It also is on TMZ right now. And Cesar Millan officials are investigating possible animal cruelty. This happened within 24 hours, so we can, I guess we'll follow up this news on our Facebook page. That's what we'll do until the next show that we do. But there you go. It just shows what happens when people come together for the right reasons, and we will follow up. Currently, you can find that on TMZ. Thank you, Jill, for that. She's an expert in her field, and we want to be able to follow her lead in positive reinforcement training. And I mentioned her app just before the break, and I want to say it one more time because you can make changes right this minute by downloading dogdecoder.com. Learn how to read your pet's body language. You'll be all the better for it. So we're going to get on to something a little bit lighter, but a little more sneezy. That is reverse sneezing, and lots of dogs do it. My dog started doing it when we got Galaxy. I panicked. I didn't know what was going on. Oh my gosh, my dog okay? And she was reverse sneezing. And there are many respiratory sounds that can be made by a canine, we all know that, or your feline companion. Some sounds are more concerning and merit an immediate examination by a veterinarian. Other audible respiratory patterns should cause an owner to take notice, but not necessarily need to be evaluated at 3 a.m. at an emergency veterinary hospital. I think I might have done that before. What do you think, Jim? Here's the trouble. If you're my vet and I make friends with you, sometimes I will call at 3 a.m. for something that does not need any attention to. Anyway, one of the most common respiratory patterns exhibited by dogs and cats that often causes some degree of alarm to inexperienced owners, that was me, is reverse sneezing. This was years ago. Inspiratory here we go again with the words, Jim. I really need to practice these before I come on air. Inspiratory paroxysmal respiration. Oh gosh, here's another one. Mechanosensitive aspiration reflex, or pharyngeal, I do like that word, gag reflex are scientific terms for reverse sneezing. I will just use reverse sneezing from now on. How can an owner tell the difference between a reverse sneeze, a regular sneeze, coughing and choking? Good to know. With some awareness, experience and common sense, you'll soon be able to discern amongst these audible respiratory sounds your pet may make. So here we go. Coughing. Coughing is a forceful exhalation through the mouth, typically paired with abdominal contraction to expel material from the throat, trachea or the windpipe, or lungs. Coughing can be productive, expelling mucus, liquid or other substances, or non-productive, which is dry. Choking is a reflex-like expulsion through the mouth of material that inadvertently gets stuck in the throat or enters the trachea. Trachea if you're England, trachea if you're in the States. Generally, the term choking can be used interchangeably with gagging. Here we go. Now we move on to sneezing. Sneezing involves vigorous evacuation of microscopic or visible materials from the nose or nostrils. Environmental allergens, so you've got your pollen and your mold, which we've got a lot of pollen right now in Vegas, and irritants, which are dust, smoke, and incense even, or those those air fresheners that people spray. They cause inflammation in the nasal passages and lead to sneezing. Dry sneezing simply involves air being expelled forcefully. Wet sneezing may yield clear liquid mucus, blood, or other fluids. And additionally, foreign material like a plant, awn, like foxtail, which they're very dangerous if you have them in your area, and you must avoid them, or a blade of grass can be cleared during sneezing. Now, this is where we come on to reverse sneezing. This is what you need to know. Reverse sneezing is a rapidly repeating pattern of inhalation and exhalation in an attempt to remove allergens and irritants from the nasal passages. Can you impersonate our dog doing a reverse sneeze, Jim? It's repetitive. It's almost like it sounds like, oh my gosh, they can't catch their breath. That's what it sounds like. And the mouth is typically partially or fully closed to permit the primary movement of air to occur through the nose. During reverse sneezing, your pet may exhibit postural changes, including standing still, extending the head and neck, angulation of the elbows away from the body, that's called elbow abduction, and sudden movement of the head and a reverse motion and abdominal contractions. That's right. That's all that happens when my little Thornton has a reverse sneezing. And why do these dogs exhibit reverse sneezing? Well, like sneezing, a dog will reverse sneeze when an irritating substance enters his nasal passages. Environmental allergens, cigarette smoke, perfume, cologne, air freshener, incense, carpet deodorizers, cleaning products, and others are all potential contributors to reverse sneezing and other respiratory problems. I think I've got some reverse speaking going on. Problems. Infections with bacteria, viruses and parasites, nasal mites, etc. can also contribute to reverse sneezing. Pets having periodontal disease have more inflammation in the nasal passages from gingivitis and abnormalities in the tooth roots in the upper row of teeth that communicate with the sinuses, and the inflammation associated with this periodontal disease permits oral cavity bacteria to enter the sinuses and can lead to sneezing, reverse sneezing, and other breathing abnormalities. There's a lot there that you need to work at. If you've got dental disease, periodontal disease, you need to get that taken care of for the general health anyway. But that would obviously help that if they didn't have to deal with the periodontal disease and the bacteria. And so they said, do you need to be concerned about your dog's reverse sneezing? You may need to be concerned about the reverse sneezing if the episodes aren't stopping or becoming more frequent or severe. So just, pay attention to that. And typically reverse sneezing resolves itself over a period of seconds, 0 to 60. But when it happens the first time, you're going to full-on panic. It's horrible. And when the irritating substance is expelled from the nose. With worsening episodes of reverse sneezing, have your pooch evaluated by a veterinarian on an emergency or appointment basis. In working up reverse sneezing, your veterinarian may need to perform a sedated or anesthetized examination, rhinoscopy, which is a fiber optic imaging, and radiographs, which are your x-rays, blood testing, and more. So if you're saying this a lot, more and more, definitely go to your vet. And so what can you do to help your pet during bouts of reverse sneezing? It's important to recognize that episodes of reverse sneezing are not episodes of seizure activity. Your dog isn't going to bite off his tongue while reverse sneezing, so don't put your hands inside his mouth in an attempt to move the tongue out of the way of his teeth. You'll probably get bitten. Although there's no specific treatment for reverse sneezing, many owners attempt to console their pet by gently stroking the throat or the back of the head to the tail. As there's a need for rapid expansion and contraction of the chest cavity, don't hold your pet tight. Doing so can prevent your pet from big inhales and exhales needing to expel these allergens. Gentle tapping your pet on the nose or briefly covering the nostrils with your fingertips can promote swallowing and stop the spasming associated with reverse sneezing. I've seen people do that before. Antihistamines can reduce histamine release associated with these allergic responses and should be used as per your veterinarian's recommendations. So if it's a big concern for you, see it's a lot, off to the veterinarian, see what you can do about it. And don't hug them, but you can calm them down, stroke them, from head to tail, and try and get them to relax a little bit. That's what I do. I just have to be with her and tell her she's going to be okay. She doesn't do it too often, but we are in a bit of a season right now where that's quite prevalent. So can I prevent my pet from reverse sneezing? So as you can't keep your pet in an allergen-free plastic bubble, which I would love to do with my dogs to make sure they're completely safe, there's no 100% means of preventing reverse sneezing. And these are the recommendations. Avoid using cleaning products that leave aromas around the house. Yes, absolutely. You will definitely see that happen more if you spray stuff in the air. Keep windows closed in the home. Use air conditioning and clean and replace your air filters as per manufacturer guidelines. Very important, especially out here. We have a lot of dust and a lot of pollen. And don't smoke or use candles, air fresheners, or anything that produces particulate matter that could be inspired inside your house. Commit to preventing or resolving your pet's periodontal disease. Partner with your vet to determine the most appropriate dental care for your pet. Of course, you've got to do your daily brushing and your dental cleanings, and walk your dog on a short, flat lead to prevent her from putting her nose in locations where environmental allergens can be inhaled. Yeah, we've got one that loves to be under bushes, so we have to be careful of that. And hopefully with some preventative measures, you can reduce the likelihood your canine or feline friend will have frequent or concerning episodes of reverse sneezing. So there you go. Now you know, and now you can do better, and you won't have to panic so much. Now it's normal to me, but in the beginning it was really scary. And it is to anyone that's got, a new pet and maybe you've never had a dog before, and you just don't know. So that's how you're going to eliminate or make it a little bit easier on them to avoid some of those things. It's hard to give up candles sometimes, isn't it, Jim? People love a candle, but we don't spray any air fresheners, and we don't put any cleaning products on our floors. We have hardwood floors. It's hot steam that cleans our floors. And if you do use some of those air fresheners, don't spray it on their beds either. Don't spray on your bed, don't spray it on their bed. And another thing, actually, while we're talking about that, and we've talked about it in the past, is dryer sheets. They expel a lot into the air. They're quite dangerous as far as the chemicals go. They're also dangerous if your pet gets hold of one of them and tries to swallow them. And so what we use, we have these spiky balls. They look like golf balls with spikes on them, and we throw those in the dryer to soften the clothing in there, as opposed to putting chemicals and perfume in the air. So we've made a lot of changes. We have a holistic vet who, when we first went to her, gave me 11 pages of homework. And she said, you yourselves, you need to eliminate this out of your homes. Get rid of this, get rid of that. It's not good for any of us, including our pets. So that's something that you can do. So what do we like time-wise, Jim? We've got a couple of minutes left, really, haven't we? Because someone else is coming into the studio right after me. So we're going to make it a couple of minutes. I'm going to talk about, as we close the show out, our next fabulous rocking fundraiser. And the fundraiser is to benefit Rocking for Rescues. I am on the board. I love being on the board with my friend Pam Webb, the founder of Rocking for Rescues. The website is rocking4rescues.org, O-R-G. And our next event, and it's our second one, as in the second annual 80s Hairball. It's exactly what it is. You've got to come dressed in your favorite 80s character or clothing, and nothing's too extreme for us. We love to dress up. It's at the Palms Hotel, April 24th. Will you tell me if that's a Sunday or not, Jim? Maybe it's April 26th. I think it's the 24th, and it's at 5 p.m. So no excuses about, it's a work day the next day. It's a Sunday. You'll come in the afternoon. It's dark in there. It's a Sunday, great. And you'll dress up, you'll walk our red carpet. It's $20 a ticket, very affordable. What we do is raise money to take the financial pressure off other animal rescues throughout the USA. So we're helping a lot of animals throughout the country. We have our fantastic rock band, Cyanide, playing. They were great the first year. They'll be great the second year. And we'll have our auction. And we're also going to do something a little different this year. You'll make a donation of of a certain dollar amount and be able to go to the gift bag table and grab a gift bag. So anyone that donates, and it's going to be a set dollar amount, we'll tell you that as we, figure that out. Everybody will walk away with something, which is even better than a raffle, don't you think? And you can buy your tickets at 80shairball.com. 80shairball.com. $20. Get your tickets now. We want to sell out and more on this fantastic afternoon that we're going to have for animal rescue. And as I say, second one around, we had fun the first time. We even had an air guitar playing contest. That was probably for me the highlight. It was hilarious. So we're going to resurrect that one again. It was a really fun element and something quite different to do in the show. So I think at this point, Jim, we are going to wrap up the show because someone else wants to come in the studio right after me. And so we like to say, remember, you can help an animal in need, either rescue, adopt, donate, volunteer, share their information, or come to our 80s. That's what I need to do. Come and meet Kevin myself.
You've been listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture.
And that's what you mean, all animals, just dogs and cats. So I want to thank you for listening today. A little bit heavy in the beginning, but please go to the Dogs Encoder app. You'll find that in the iTunes store. Start changing your training methods to a positive way of training, and come to our 80s Hairball. Help us support animal rescue, and we will see you next week. We hope you have a great week, and you've been listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio, where it's all about pets, people, and pop culture. I am your host, Sam, the queen of rock and roll dogs, and always kiss your pets good morning and good night. We'll see you next week.